Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Just let that hang for a second. The nice, calm, relaxing, quiet that we have maybe today. So here we are, guys, number 523. Let's get into it. What a week, huh?
The fundamental core of this podcast basis was talking about things we saw on TV, essentially with a sports lean, and I feel like. I know for a fact that I did not watch. I watched the Bears game, which does not qualify as football. But aside from that, I didn't watch any sports. There really wasn't much else but NFL on, but I didn't watch any of it. I imagine most everyone spent 3 days watching just county maps for the better part of every day. And
literally from sunrise to sunset every day.
And now it's only, and I think that, and not that we're necessarily, we talked a little bit before the show started about how we want to kind of approach this. And, I think just from a stance of somebody who is, trying to take the high road, that we should just kind of talk more around the issue and say, how did you guys, I'm curious how every one of us dealt with either before, during, or after those stressful few days. What'd you guys do to keep your mind occupied, or what'd you watch to distract yourself?
I kind of stopped following the results Tuesday night. But like I said, I've been through, I don't know how many of these things since I started voting. And I could see from the start, when it came down to, and the way I projected it, and I'm a total geek about this stuff. I don't give a shit about the politics part of it. I love the board game aspect of an electoral college map. And I kept saying, this thing is riding totally on Michigan and Wisconsin. Everybody can talk about Ohio, Florida, even Arizona to an extent, but it's if he can't take those two states, I don't see a way to do it. So once they were kind of we're not, Wisconsin came in, I'm like, okay, that's that. Michigan was close. I thought, all right, that's it. It's going to be Biden. And I don't know. I haven't been following a lot of the follow-up stuff, but I know they're saying there's voter fraud and there's irregularities and all that. Okay, fine. Then let the legal system do its thing. But I think that you're chasing a rabbit down a hole. And you're not going to catch the rabbit. You're done. It's over. You've lost, and that's that.
It is worth noting that the Trump campaign has not actually produced any evidence of voter fraud.
But I don't know if it was in Georgia or Michigan. I don't remember which. But the Secretary of State in one of those two states has sent in an investigation over what they called voting irregularities, and that could just be something as simple as there was a software glitch or whatever. And like I said before the show, I was alive and fully immersed in the 2000 election. I was an Al Gore supporter, and I said, let it all play out because it has to be blah, 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 blah. And I can't be a hypocrite today and go, you know what? There's some things that don't look quite right here. But so what? We don't like the guy that lost, so fuck it. Let's just go ahead and go.
The difference is, the difference of course is that in 2000, we're talking a razor thin margin in one state. I think at the end, the official tally only had Bush winning by less than 1,000 votes in that state.
502 or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy. It was at the 500. Mm-hmm. So you're talking a crazy thin margin, which is not the case in these states that Trump is contesting. Like, you look at
No, but I still say that
and he
there's
also
something-
has, if Trump wanted to fight all this back and somehow take back his seat, he'd have to do this in 4-5 states. As opposed
right.
to one.
I agree with all of that. I'm not disputing any of that. I'm saying that if they believe, if one campaign believes that there are things they need to investigate, then we should let them investigate it.
and not only that, but like they have been in court. Like they
of
were.
the 10 lawsuits that have been decided on as of right now, the 10 post-election day lawsuits that have been decided, the Trump campaign and their allies have lost all 10 of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
when they've lost them all, we'll go home.
Like they've laughed. Like there's there's been no evidence suggested that there has been any voter fraud or
Nobody
any.
said voter fraud. I said there have been allegations of voter fraud, and there have been instances of voting irregularity.
And
That doesn't mean that I'm saying that somebody's trying to steal an election from anybody else. I'm saying let's make sure we get everything right, because you know what? I don't want to be in December hearing people go, fuck, they never counted this, they never did that. Let's just let it play out.
Well, again, I think what we're dealing with here a little bit, just in this vacuum of the four of us, especially Greg, I feel like there's a lot of issue with semantics and sort of like, I didn't say this, here's what I meant. And it's like, I don't think we should like mince words, really. It's like, this is kind of above and beyond all of us. And I think we all know that everyone in here has got a good heart and pretty good person. So, except for Mike. I mean, Mike's not a good person, but
Well,
I mean, for the most
clearly
part,
not.
Those
I mean,
Canadians
geez.
are sketchy, always have been.
Mike,
he's not
right?
a good. But
Look,
No, I'm just saying that I get what you're saying, Mike, and I don't disagree with any of it. I don't. All I'm saying is that to make sure that we don't end up with people like, I don't know what the fuck they might end up doing, but I don't want to give them any opportunity or any reason to do it.
but like what I'm saying is that, like, if there are any irregularities, if there was a glitch, or if there was, a box of ballots somewhere, found that they didn't count, the likelihood that
I agree.
that Trump makes up the tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of vote deficit in enough states to actually change this is not gonna happen.
No,
and so
it's
so that's
not.
why I think the 2000 comparison is not a good one, because in 2000 it was
it's the
one
closest.
state. It
It's
was
the closest
one
we
state
had.
in a razor thin margin, and so in that case you say, okay, let's make sure. But here it's like,
No. It's if there are irregularities, and if election boards are saying there have been irregularities, doesn't matter if it's razor thin, or I mean, we all know that he can't win.
yeah,
My-
he can't win.
My point is this: you still have to let it play out, because you just have to do that.
So if he can't win, then why are we sitting here
Because
going
we don't know with 100% certainty. We're 99.9% sure.
I'd say even more than that. I mean,
but whatever.
Well-
It's just the way the system works.
So I mean,
And I'm fine with that. And if look, if you guys if you're not, that's fine too. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that we should let it play out, because the less excuses we have for people to run around going, they stole the election.
they're gonna say that anyway, though.
Well,
This could get all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court could unanimously say there are, Trump, you lost,
right.
and he's still going to go out there and go, they stole the election from me. It doesn't matter.
But at least I know for there's, I don't argue the point that there is a portion of his supporters that are going to do exactly that. But let's leave no doubt for everybody else.
Right. Greg, where Greg is coming from, in my opinion, is that like essentially it's like I'm turning in a report, I'm filling, and basically we need to let the bibliography and sources fill itself out. Because essentially, like, the wheels of justice move so slowly for the most part, and that things of this nature get so big, they take time. Like, it's not going to be as long as some might worry it might be, because I mean, typically these things, there's been a few trials that have already been thrown out, and very notably just immediately because of lack of evidence. But the if they want to waste their time and let the court system just kind of laugh them out of the room, then let them.
Right,
there's no
exactly.
It's a waste of taxpayer money, but like that's what the president's been doing anyway for the last 4 years.
It's
Like,
like
that's
the
just
money.
the government.
The thing that comes to mind, and I'm well aware that Trump hasn't done this, at least not yet, but it is just sort of how it does kind of reflect how I view these sort of things. A few years back when there was that opening in the Alabama Senate, and it was between Doug Jones, a Democrat, and Roy Moore. Yeah, Roy Moore, the pedophile. The pedophile who wanted to put the 10 Commandments out, and
That's the two things we think of, right?
Pedophile. I think that was is actually his party name on the ticket.
But Doug Jones, won that election. It was a huge thing. It's like, holy shit, a Democrat won in Alabama, and Roy Moore tried to stop the official certification of the results by going to a court and going like, we are alleging that there was voter fraud. And the court was like, okay, like, what's your argument for that? And he produced basically he produced a report, which was produced by a known Holocaust denier, that basically amounted to too many black people voted for the other guy. And so I know Trump hasn't stooped to that level yet, but at the same time, it's like, yes, the justice system, the system is what it is, and the system will deal with all of this, shit as it comes in. But given the absurdity, and yet again, Trump hasn't stooped that low yet, but he has basically done, like, his lawsuits have amounted to, like, there were he goes before, like, his lawyers will go before a judge. There's voter fraud. The judge goes, okay, what's your proof? We have none. Okay, get the fuck out of my courtroom. And it's like,
it's that, or if we have it, we're just not going to show it to you yet.
And it's like,
guys, I know that if there was voter fraud, I really, really seriously doubt that it was enough to swing an entire fucking election.
No, but see, that's my point. It's like, I don't feel the need to treat this with kid gloves. It's like, yes, do I believe that the court system should be allowed to deal with this in its own time? I'm not treating
it with kid gloves. I'm saying that if
you don't want to talk about it.
But I don't want to give it legitimacy by saying like, who knows? It's like, no, I know.
How do you know? How do you know for 100% certainty? How do you know?
How do I know? Okay. I'll explain how I know. Because the amount of states Donald Trump needs to flip in order to.
That's not what I asked you. I said, how do you know that nothing happened?
How do I know there's nothing?
Because here, Mike, I'll just make it a quick one. Okay. Because the guy that's alleging the voter fraud said, count the votes in the state where I'm behind and don't count the votes in the state where I'm ahead.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Trump said.
He wanted them to stop counting in the states where he was ahead, Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Well, I understand.
Arizona, where he's behind, no, keep counting those ones because those ones might get me ahead. That's how ridiculous this is to have the guy that's calling out the voter fraud or trying to say that there is voter fraud.
I'm not talking.
It's ridiculous. You look at it on his face, and it's just
the whole thing's ridiculous.
You lost.
I know that. I understand that. I'm not even arguing that point. He lost. I knew he lost Tuesday night. I didn't need to wait till Saturday to find out. My point is that if there are legitimate concerns out there, then they should be addressed. And I don't I have not followed the lawsuits and all that. I'm just saying that from my personal standpoint, and no one has to agree with me. And, you're not going to change my mind on it. But if there are questions, and those questions need to be answered, because that's how we do things. That's how we used to do things in America.
Well, then the court system will in its due time sort this out. But at the same time, I'm allowed to say these lawsuits are fraudulent.
Fraudulent or frivolous?
Frivolous. Yes. Sorry, they're they are frivolous.
What is more American than a frivolous lawsuit?
Right.
I mean, that's I'm with Greg for the most part. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things to where this is to people who want this to be some sort of logical, sensible thing. Politics is the wrong shop for that kind of stuff. Not that anyone in this room is ignorant of politics or doesn't know what they're talking about. Obviously not. It's more of just like I'm willing to just be patient, and because I feel like there's as long as the courts do their thing in due time, then it'll be fine. But I don't feel like I need to like pound the table for anything to be done quicker or for people to just give up. Because I mean, we're letting the nature of these certain beasts continue to like play out live, and it sucks and it's annoying because everyone's paying attention. Everyone wants.
Sometimes when you've got a 3-year-old in the corner screaming, you just got to let him scream himself out. Yeah, maybe that's the best way I can put it. I know that we do have.
Wait a minute. I'm Razor Ramon. I'm Scott Hall.
Huh?
So Chaos Blast in the comments said that. So we're going over like NWO the stuff that's.
I'm not Eric Bischoff. I want to be somebody cooler than that.
Eric Bischoff pioneered the evil executive archetype that wrestling's been ripping off ever since.
I want to be like who is their version of like Sergeant Slaughter or somebody the fair-minded. I do want to say though, one of our old friends has decided to weigh in with his opinion on the results of this election. Would you like to hear from him?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
The absolute worst.
That would be Tank, of course.
We know who Tank. Not Tank feels about things.
The absolute worst.
Yeah, the poor Tank. I'm sure he.
Out there watching.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Even imagine.
Outside one of those windows, just looking in, staring.
I'm thinking he probably jumped out of one of his windows.
Probably fit through one of his windows.
Oh, there's the lowest hanging fruit.
Oh my goodness, Mike.
So to get back to the original point. Look at that fat ass brother. He can't even fit out his window. Like, so to keep my sanity over the few days and into today, I'm kind of curious. Greg mentioned one before the show. I was watching. It's called Victorian Farm, and it is a BBC series where archaeologists and historians live a calendar year working a British Victorian era farm, like a historic farm. And they talk about how they like make the food and tend the livestock and all that stuff. And it's like, this is absolutely delightful. It is in no way related whatsoever to the current cluster that is happening every time I turn on CNN. And that's pretty much what helped me keep my sanity for the first few days. What were you watching, Greg? You watched something very relatively...
I don't even know how I stumbled across this on YouTube. It's called Geography King.
Geography guy or kid, whatever. Right?
King, and it's just this guy. He only has about 5,000 subscribers. I mean, it's not a big channel. And I started watching it, and the first thing I saw was he rated the Welcome to the State signs for all 50 states. And I thought, well, this is right up our alley.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? So I watch it, and I'm going, well, I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, that's a good looking sign. And he's talking about design elements and all this. And I thought, well, this is fun. And then he rated the 50 flags for the 50 states. I'm like, well, this is really going to be cool. And he sounded like one of us, except he was talking about flags and road signs and that sort of thing.
Is this guy has to be on the boards. There's like no way. Like
I don't think so. I don't think so. He's like a travel guy. But think of like if you had a guy that was like from the boards, knew nothing about sports, was just into aesthetics. That's him. And it was like, this is great. He's like, because when he did the flags, I'm thinking, well, Ohio's going to be up there because it's just a weird flag. I don't know if you guys are familiar with our flag, but it's not your
like
typical rectangular shape.
Like a pennant, right? It's
It came in number 6, by the way. But I don't know how much you guys know about state flags, but any guesses on what the number 1 flag was on his list?
I would say based off of. I'd say based off the majority of
the bear came in 10th. Zach, go ahead, Mike.
That's blasphemous.
Based off just like a lot of the lists like this I've seen, I'm just going to guess that he probably put New Mexico at 1.
You would be exactly right, Mike.
I was going to say New Mexico. New Mexico's a bitchin' flag. It's awesome.
That's what he said. Yeah. See what I mean? And that's how he sucked me into this. And now I'm watching things like why the map's weird here, and it's just, I don't know. It was so nice. It was just nerdy, completely unhooked from everything else. And I thought, this is just great. I'm really enjoying this. So that's what I did.
Well, plus Geography King, it sounds like it's kind of in the vein of not only the like this cool design element stuff, but it's also kind of a rare like celebration of America in a way. You know, it's kind of like a good American thing to where it's like we have a lot of states. They're diverse. They're interesting. They have like a lot of cool, unique cultural stuff to them. Even if it's just the flag or the sign coming into the state, like all that flavor.
Well, then
of the melting pot,
And then he did the 10 worst states to travel through, and that was hilarious because he was like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but Kansas is horrible. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I got no offense, Greg. I got to give that to Ohio just based on my own personal experience.
Dude, no, yeah. Well, you've never driven through, say, West Texas or
no, and I don't, and I hopefully I never have to. But like,
if you think the 220 miles of Ohio is boring, think about this: Nebraska from the east side to the west side is like 5 Ohios. Except there's not a fucking thing between the first border and the last border.
Granted, I once drove all the way through Ontario, but at least there was cool scenery. Got some forests and mountains and shit.
You went to Kentucky. You went through a whole bunch of mountains.
No. I'm just saying compared to Ohio.
Ohio had mountains. You couldn't have gotten to Kentucky without going through the mountains in Ohio.
Oh, right? Yeah, no, but I'm just saying for long stretches.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
Yeah, no, Ohio got interesting in some spots, but like once you hit like when I crossed the border from Michigan into Ohio, like
you hit the most boring part of the state.
There's like a good period where it was just God.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's like so flat. Like you can step out my back door and see Toledo from here, and it's 60 miles away. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but yeah, this part of Ohio. And the funny part is that like if you go 15 miles south of where I live, it's like you're in West Virginia. Not culturally, but scenery wise.
Oh yeah, no. Like things got like much more interesting once I got into like the southern part of the state. Like, that's because I was going into Kentucky, right? So like once I got to the Kentucky Ohio border, like that area was actually really interesting to drive through. But yeah.
Looks like we lost Zach.
He quit in rage after he found out that the Californian flag was all. He's like, this is unacceptable, and now he's out on his roof waving.
Well, to be fair, I would have ranked California flag higher than 10th too.
No, honestly, I think it's
top 3 easy.
Honestly, if I did my own, version of this, I'd be tempted to put California 1.
No.
I think for me it would be between New Mexico. As soon as he got to the top, I'm like, it's got to be New Mexico because who's mentioned yet. I like Arizona's flag a lot too.
Arizona's is nice, yeah.
Yeah, and I like Ohio's flag just because it's unique. But California, I think California's got to be top 5. 10 is too low, I think.
I think Texas's flag is pretty cool.
Yeah, Texas is another one. Yeah, you know who we had in the top 4 that I couldn't believe was that fucking abomination of Maryland. That flag of theirs.
I like Maryland.
It's unique. It's unique, but it's uglier than shit.
It is the only state flag in the United States based off European heraldry.
I'm going to repeat one of his jokes. It's also the only flag in the United States that requires an epilepsy warning.
But no, it's based off of European heraldry, so that's neat.
That is true, but no, it was fun, but we don't want to get I can go on and on about geography.
Well, we just turn this into talk about state flags.
Yeah.
Well, we were challenged by Chaos Blast to review some of the
best
Canadian provinces.
Okay,
wow,
the best.
okay.
So the best Canadian. So I don't know how Chaos Blast is going to feel about this, but I've got to be a homer for Ontario. I love the Ontario flag.
I'm looking them up right now because I want to see.
Red ensign and all.
There's a link I just provided in there. I've got my favorite picked out already.
In terms of provincial and territorial flags, I've got to go with the Ontario flag. I think is really, really nice because it is a red ensign with the Ontario coat of arms. But I think in terms of reflecting the history of the province, how the province was founded by loyalists who were fleeing the American Revolution, who the whole point was loyalty to the crown. I think you can't really beat that in terms of what the design is. So I'd say the Ontario one's probably my favorite for sentimental reasons partially, Aesthetically, I also like Newfoundland and Labrador's flag.
Yeah,
That would be my
that's the
favorite.
top one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
my
top
favorite
in my
too.
opinion.
Newfoundland and Labrador's flag is meant to be a stylized Union Jack, which I think is actually a really it's really cool how they went about that. And then you've got both PEI and New Brunswick, which are based off European heraldry. But I'd probably say my third favorite, if I had to like rank top three, I'd put like Ontario, Newfoundland, and then Nunavut, the territory of Nunavut. I think does a really good job taking Inuit imagery and then making a flag out of it.
I have a question, Mike.
Yes.
And with regard to the Nova Scotia flag, isn't Nova Scotia Trailer Park Boys took place in New Brunswick, right?
I believe so, yes.
Because I was going to say, if it was Nova Scotia, it's too perfect. It looks like the Florida flag, except the Canadian version of it, Trailer Park Boys. Come on now.
No, well, what's actually funny because if you were going to have a Canadian version of Florida, it would probably be Newfoundland. Actually, Canadians will understand that.
I don't like the Yukon flag. It reminds me too much of like Mexico, which is fine. Mexico's a great flag, but they kind of ripped it off here, I think.
Yukon and the Northwest Territories. I'm not big fans of those flags, but I'd say Nunavut has by far the best of the three territorial flags.
Oh, look at Saskatchewan. I think they've got your green for the Saskatchewan party there.
Well, that's where the party got their colors from, you see. It's from that. I actually don't like the Saskatchewan flag. I think it's mostly fine, but the flower ruins it. Like, it's just kind of stuck there. Like, it's like someone had it like a bicolor, and then they put the coat of arms in the corner, and they're like, "Well, that looks good, right?" And someone's like, "We're gonna put a flower here," and
the flag of Saskatchewan should just be the outline of Saskatchewan. And I don't mean like drawn in the middle of the rectangle. I mean the shape of the fabric should be the shape.
Well, then, so you just turn the flag on its side because
I wonder why more states haven't done that, or provinces for that matter. That would be interesting. Right?
There's very few that even have interesting. Like Ohio is the only one that I can think of that's.
Well, actually, you look at like Colorado, shaped exactly like its flag because they're both square.
Now, if you scroll down, you'll see 4 city flags: Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver.
I like the Calgary thing with the cowboy hat. It's whimsical, but not a great look. Montreal, that seems a little busy to me.
Well, the Montreal flag is meant to. There's a lot of symbolism there. I
figured as much. I just don't understand. I know there's a fleur-de-lis, I think, up in the left-hand corner there.
The red cross is the St. George Cross, which is the cross of England, which is in honor of the fact that the flag was, unveiled during the visit of, I believe it was King George V when he visited the city.
We should have shared the screen, Andy, now that I think about
it. We've got so the symbols, the fleur-de-lis in the top left represents the French, the rose in the top right represents the English, the thistle in the bottom left represents the Scottish, and the shamrock in the bottom right represents the Irish, and then the tree in the middle represents the native peoples. So it's like the ethnic groups that came together in Montreal is what that represents. Toronto is the symbol of the that sort of like the silhouette of City Hall. Like if you've ever seen Toronto, it's these like Toronto City Hall. It's these like T-shaped buildings.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
And then Vancouver is just water because it's on the coast. And then like I don't know, here's a green triangle and a coat of arms. Like Vancouver's just kind of very.
This will do. Throw it out there.
Yeah. No, but if you look at Montreal, the flag was originally adopted in 1939 without the tree. They added the tree in 2017 to represent the native peoples.
Oh, cool. So. That was very nice of them.
I feel like I'm on like a tour guide, like a tour here. It's like, welcome to the Museum of Canadian Flags. Here's your tour guide, Mike.
Here are the flags you're talking about. We should probably get out of this before we lose every listener.
I could easily go into it. All I'll say is I won't share it or anything like that. All I'll say is that if you want to see a really interesting Canadian flag, look up the flag of the Canadian Army.
Okay.
It is it's that first one. The red one, yeah. It is an exercise in how many maple leafs you can fit in a single flag. Like,
God.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They managed 5.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
anyway, so
yeah.
should we move on from flags and geography and
Sure.
But no. Because when we were talking about how we were going to approach this, and we talked about, let's talk about ways that we, coped during the 100 years that was the past week.
right?
I actually had something which I'm actually kind of a bit ashamed to say because it's something of a guilty pleasure.
Uh-oh.
But you know what? It's 2020. This is a safe space. I believe I can.
Well, we'll see.
Just one bit on Chaos Blast. No love for Alberta. Chaos Blast. Alberta is just an American state flag. It's the coat of arms on a blue field. Like,
That's exactly what I thought.
The Alberta flag. It's the Calgary Flames jerseys.
Yes.
Right. That could be New York. That could be Vermont. That could be a whole manner of states. Chaos Blast down here that are just a blue.
Yeah.
And that's what my geography guy complained about. He said, like, I want to say 70% of the flags down here are just a blue background with something on it type thing like that. So yeah, that's why it's not getting any love. We love Alberta. We're just not crazy about the flag.
Yeah. No, Alberta's great. It's just you got to up your flag game. Come on, guys.
Exactly. Come on now.
But in terms of how I coped with it, I revisited an old love from junior high, which was I rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Oh, Mike, no.
I know,
Mike.
I know.
No.
I know.
Let's play cards, but on motorcycles.
No. It wasn't the motorcycle one. This is the one where they all go to the card game university.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Which, to be fair, is not any less stupid. But no,
the only reason I even know about some of those other ones is, they do like the anime abridged things.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series. Yeah,
right. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is really good for anyone that cares. But he did one of the things he abridged was the movie where like the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline, the motorcycle timeline,
yes,
and the university timeline like all mix. So that's the only reason I know the motorcycle one.
Yeah,
which is like it's already a stupid world that you live and die by
card games. By card games, yes.
Now let's do it while we're riding on motorcycles with holographic projections around us. Like, makes a whole lot of sense.
I hear this and I know I kind of know vaguely what these things are. In my head, I'm like, God, this is fucking stupid. But hold
Andy,
on,
it is.
But then I realized one of I look back in my mental time machine to when I was a kid, and I was like, well, what was on TV? Like, oh yeah, roller sharks. We're like big muscular sharks wearing roller skates.
Street sharks. Yeah,
street sharks. Yeah, like it's just like, oh,
I have no
leg to stand on.
Really?
Sorry?
Or no, Vin Diesel was in the Street Shark toy commercials. That's what he was in.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better human embodiment of street sharks than Vin Diesel, like, honestly.
Really? Yeah, I agree.
But no, so basically what was happening was I was watching the election returns come in, and like I said last week, in Canada, we don't have this obsessive, like, let's zoom in on Fulton County in Indiana because they've picked every presidential winner since 1854 or some bullshit like that. Like we don't have that. And so I'm kind of like, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, so results are coming in, and then they go back to the stupid goddamn map guy every 2 seconds. Well, what does this mean? Bullshit. And I couldn't handle it. So I said, and me being a very, politically opinionated person, I had very strong feelings about this election. And so I was like, you know what? I got to get away from this. I need to get away from this. And I thought, and I was like, and I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. And so I was like, you know what? Why not? It's dumb, stupid fun. And so I pulled it up on Hulu, and I watched like the first 10 episodes, and then I was like, you know what? That's better. I needed that. I really did.
and
So that's
Sailor-
how I coped.
And Sailor, that's not even the dorkiest thing that we did. I think I still hold the title on that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Meanwhile, Greg's like, I watched a video about the font on street signs, and
Right. So Zach, what did you do on the extended summer vacation that was last week?
Oh, I didn't cope. I just put it into my veins.
Did you? You just were mainlining the shit, huh?
yeah, no. Zach was taping his eyes open, sitting in front of CNN for like 5 days.
you laugh. Literally, I stayed up too late. I got up earlier than normal, and all I had on was, and like I didn't want to. It wasn't that I was like interested in like the 35 votes that were coming in here, the 35 votes that were coming in there. It was just like I couldn't take my eyes off of like, oh, the numbers keep changing. Oh, the numbers keep changing. Well, I want to be here when it's done. Like,
I want to be here when they change the most.
Well,
I want to see him push
the idea.
Put your finger on the map.
The idea was, I didn't want to miss when they finally did it. And of course, I think like most of us, I thought, well, maybe they'll do it Wednesday. Maybe they'll do it Thursday. Maybe they'll do it Friday. And then, thankfully, I happened to be up again earlier than normal, watching CNN nonstop for 5 days. And I was up on Saturday morning when they finally called it, and then just this full release of like, oh my god, it's done.
Yeah, we all got the Return of the Jedi gif.
I got a question, seriously, guys, for the three of you. Did you really think there was a chance that Biden was going to lose at that point?
Yes.
No,
really?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing to me.
I mean,
like
honestly,
I said, I pretty much knew Tuesday night where it was going to go.
Honestly, I guess like, okay, so a lot of this was rooted in 2016 for me, right?
Yeah,
where like I remember 2016 watching the election returns, and before the polls closed and before they started reporting any numbers, they're like, the Clinton campaign has said like, they're seeing really good numbers and traction in the battleground states. Some are saying they're even outperforming, Democratic performances in 2012. And we all know how 2016 ended up. So when I'm watching this and the, they still have Pennsylvania red, and, they're saying, and everyone's saying it's like, oh, when the mail-in vote comes in, it's going to swing for Biden. And I'm watching this for like 2 days and it hasn't changed. I'm like,
Right, that was me too.
Oh,
Like,
man.
I think like during the middle of Wednesday, it finally was like, he's going to win. Like all the math that they keep throwing at my head, it's like, okay, I understand he's going to, but like, he hasn't yet.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, it's funny because in 2016 I was watching, and it was, you could see what was happening, but throughout the whole thing, Hillary Clinton still had like these, okay, if this and this breaks her way,
right.
she could still win. And then I don't remember what time it was. They called Wisconsin for Trump, and I turned the TV off, started watching Star Wars. I'm like, well, this is over. And I don't know. Maybe I dork out too much on this stuff, but it was like, and like,
well, no, I mean, in both cases, it seems, Greg, like you like pretty much called it right. Like you're like, oh, Wisconsin went for Hillary, they know that's it, and now, Wisconsin went for Trump, so Hillary's done. And like this time, you're like, oh, well, here, Michigan and Wisconsin went for Biden, so that's what, It seems like you probably have a better handle on it. Like,
but it was exactly like you said, Mike, because I think even through Wednesday, like Biden was down over 100,000, maybe almost close to 200,000 votes in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they still said, oh, but he's going to get like all these ballots in Philadelphia he's going to end up winning by 100,000 votes.
Yeah.
And I think that was the piece of math that I couldn't quite line up right in my head. I'm like, but he's down by that much, and you say he's going to win by that much?
And then
it didn't click until until it really started taking chunks out of it. And then I think it was it Thursday morning when they flipped it?
It was Thursday morning when it flipped, and then they had, and then when it came in, like obviously Philadelphia being a huge city, massively Democratic,
right?
When that happened, all of the gritty memes started, which in my opinion have been the best thing. The best thing to come out of this is like what is it as the Tyrell lady from Game of Thrones,
Marjorie Tyrell.
Marjorie, right. Where tell Donald.
I want him to know it was me.
It was me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it was a thing of like I was so dialed in all of Tuesday, and then I was so dialed in all of Wednesday, and then just kind of waiting. Georgia flipped right before I went to bed on Wednesday night, and then when Pennsylvania flipped in the morning, it was like you said, Greg. Like I knew, but at that point it was like, okay, well now I just want to be here when it's done. And to a certain point, because it was nothing, it was the only thing I was watching. It was the only thing my girlfriend was watching. We were just kind of like. It started becoming like, oh, we're just hanging out with our friends Anderson and Jake Tapper, and we started commenting on the actual people rather than like the race, because it's literally just kind of like staring at the screen and waiting for it to change.
It's like, has Wolf Blitzer gone to bed yet?
I did not watch.
John was here, now he's gone. Where did he go?
I did not watch any cable, not a single cable network Tuesday. Couldn't take it. Everybody's just
flipping around.
Everybody's just so, it was just like, y'all need to shut up. And I forget what I would like flip back and forth between like live YouTube feeds from different places. Like I'd go like, okay, let's hear what the blue side's saying. Let's listen to the red guys for a while. And I had this I forget where I got it from, but it was this place that was doing like live updates on the voting as it was happening. And I was in heaven. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I was like more geeked out on that than these assholes with the analytics in baseball get with like all their little charts and graphs and all that shit. I was like, Zach, I was mainlining the numbers, like watching Ohio go from 53-46 Biden, and then just watching it go and switch the other way. Yeah. And then my brother sent me a text. He's like, why are they calling Arizona so soon? I'm like, dude, it's been an 8-point lead for 4 hours now. I'd call it too.
Yeah. The Arizona one was such a weird sticking point because Fox and AP called it. And then nobody else would, and nobody else would do it. And it's like, well, like, are you all operating on different sets of numbers? What is the holdup? And I think that was another thing where it's like, we know it's going to happen. Just do it. And they wouldn't do it until
when the lead held at 8 points for like 3 hours. I said, there's that. I don't know how like deep you guys get into this shit, but I like, I watch it and I go, okay, here's like with Ohio. Because obviously Ohio, I live in Ohio, so that was the one that was like we were getting the most information from. But I watched it, and it was like, okay, it was Biden came in at 53. He had like a 13-point lead at one point. And I said, if he wins Ohio, that's it. It's over. That's the ball game. And then it was like all of a sudden it was down to like, and the lead kept shrinking. I'm like, well, this is getting interesting. And then it kind of got even, and then all of a sudden Trump started pulling away in the other direction. Those are the states you watch. A state that stays at 8 points for 3 hours, there's nothing to see here. It's done. It's over. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I know they're fighting over Arizona right now, but I don't know what's going to change out there. I mean,
the other thing that kind of kept me mainlined into is I like you, Greg. I am a geography nerd, and I have gone down that YouTube rabbit hole of like, oh well, this is a weird border, isn't it? You're like, oh yeah, that is strange. Why is it like that? And then. Then all of a sudden you're learning about the enclaves between India and Bangladesh. But like the map guys really bring me in. I know far too much about the suburban collar of Philadelphia and the makeup of the population disparity in Nevada and that sort of crap. Well, it's like I love watching them play around the maps. I know it's mind numbing. I know it really doesn't mean anything.
Oh, see, I love it. That's like my favorite part of the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, I love playing around with a good map.
But like I forget where I saw it, but somebody said, okay, the Ohio, the blue counties have done their thing. The cities have done their thing. Now let's see what the red can do in Ohio. And I'm thinking this is going to be tight. But I was surprised. I really thought Ohio would be closer than it was. I really thought it would be like within 2 or 3 points, and I think Trump won it by 8.
Yeah, it was interesting because again, like we don't have to go back to the voter fraud mail-in part of it, but like the difference in some of these states and like how they progressed was just depending on how they decided to count. Like I think they kept saying that Ohio was one of the ones that counted mail-ins first, so that's why Biden took a huge lead. And then
okay, so I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense.
And then meanwhile, Pennsylvania, counted mail-ins last. So yeah.
So that's why some of them flipped the way they did back and forth. Like I think Florida did the same thing where Biden was up early and then Trump came back late. And in Ohio, Biden was up early, Trump came back late, and then it flipped elsewhere. And then like Arizona was like a weird mix where I guess because they've been doing mail-in ballots for so long down there that like the Republicans are used to it, and so I don't know. That sort of stuff was interesting to me too, just because. And then once I finally started understanding that, that's when everything started to click in for me too, where it was like, oh, so if the people that are waving their arms around yelling about it right now, if they just understood that they're being counted in a different order, that we'd be okay. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Yeah, and that thing too. I think another one that surprised me was Iowa. I had Iowa in the blue column this year, and I think it went red, didn't it?
Yeah,
by a big margin, if I remember right.
For work, we did a pool where we all made our own maps. Let me pull mine up. I'm gonna get the electoral college number right, which I'm kind of proud about. But that was a pure guess. I only missed. What did I miss? I missed North Carolina. And
so did I. I had North Carolina going red or blue, and it went red, didn't it?
Yeah. North Carolina is going to go like they're not certifying theirs later this week because they set their date like at the 12th. But I had North Carolina blue. It turned out it's going to be red. I had Georgia red. It's going to be blue, and then I didn't give Trump the one district in Maine that he's going to end up getting.
Well, I Georgia and Arizona fucked me. Yeah. Because especially Georgia, it's like, what are you doing, Georgia? Come on now. I mean, this is all well and good, but you know what you are down there. Now quit playing around and get back in the fucking red column and quit messing with my map. Arizona.
They energized the suburban Atlanta black vote is what they did. That lady who ran for governor a few years ago, like Stacey Abrams, she's like, when she lost, she made like a whole point of, I'm going to go register voters and kind of help flip that state. Now they have 2 runoffs to deal with in January, which will be their own mess for the Senate. But that's
that'll be interesting because God, now we worked out on geography. Now we're like going way into like, wonky insider political stuff here. I'm sure everybody's thrilled they're listening right now. Let me just say this and then we can move on if you guys want. The Georgia thing is going to be interesting because you're not going to have the same enthusiasm to get out and vote like you do in a presidential election. I mean, that's just a fact of life that the every 4-year presidential election is the one that brings out the biggest output. So it'll be really interesting to see how this thing plays out in Georgia because now both sides got to go ground game and really get to work, and we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be very fascinating.
As they kept saying as soon as that was kind of evident, it's like, oh, if you want to make some money right now, go buy a local TV station in Georgia,
right?
And just breaking money for the next month and a half. 2 months.
So can we need to watch more Canadian Yes, we do Chaos Blast because they're amazing.
They don't sound nearly as exciting as ours.
No, it's called Sanity.
Do you guys have Map Guy? Is there a Saskatchewan Map Guy?
No.
Well, then fuck. What good are you?
What? No, we have one map, and it what like
our map game is. I mean, come on now. We've got the map game. We've got it down.
Let me ask you this, guys. How goddamn smudgy was that touchscreen when it was all over?
Oh God, I would have never touched it. I can tell you that.
I would think that they'd be like wiping it down, once an hour, just to
never. I would have been like, I'm not touching that fucking thing.
Or at least when they changed over shifts between one map, between daytime map guy and nighttime map guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing that was more impressed by some of these networks is just like they had somebody that you knew, like a face that you knew, at least on CNN, all hours of the day. Like you had your daytime shift with your Wolf Blitzers, your Anderson Coopers, and then the nighttime shift where they carried it all the way until they handed the baton off back to Wolf Blitzer and Anderson Cooper the next day with Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon. They had everybody on air all the time for 5 straight days. The stamina was impressive.
Well, I mean, you work in a newspaper. I mean, like presidential elections, like that's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I know when I worked in radio, the only one I ever got to really be involved in covering it was the 96 election. I had more fun doing that than I think anything I've ever done before or since. It was just so cool to be out there, and we were at, I forget, one of the party headquarters, and we were getting results in. It was a ball, man. It was so much fun. But anyway, should we go to some sports here before we put everybody to sleep?
Well, here's the thing. I think the other reason that the election was able to take up so much of maybe my life, other people's lives, there's nothing going on, right? Like,
oh, I think we had something going on last night down in Tampa.
There is one thing. There is
During
one
the
thing
week,
I wanted to mention the Trump press conference at the Four Seasons Landscaping.
Yeah, that was excellent.
I didn't see it. I
So,
didn't see
so
it.
long story short, there was an announcement that there was going to be a Trump press conference held at the Four Seasons
In
And-
Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia. So everyone's like, "Oh, Four Seasons Hotel or something." Okay, so but no, it's like a gardening center or landscaping.
They wanted. They literally wanted to get the Four Seasons, and they couldn't.
And the hotel said no.
So they went to
Wow.
the Four Seasons Total Landscaping, which is parked between. It's parked between an adult sex shop and an auditorium.
Yeah.
Not only that, the adult sex shop, if you go to their website, they're currently having a sale on dildos.
The dildo, yeah. So it was just a perfect.
And that was happening like
That shit
as
ain't
the
funny,
network-
motherfucker.
call it like Rudy Giuliani's holding court, and one of the guys is like, "Hey, they just called the election. Who called it? All the networks." And Rudy just like, "Oh, all the networks! Oh my god!" Like it was just like, okay,
It's embarrassing.
He kept trying to go on, and then the news stations kept leaving, and then he was the only one there because like,
The absolute worst.
the election's over. We're gonna leave you.
Not only that, there was a guy who like interviewed the old man who owns the sex shop,
Yeah.
and his whole thing is that he's just angry that so many people are using his parking lot.
He might have drummed up some good business though.
Oh my god!
The red, white, and blue dildos were moving that day.
All right.
Very
anyway.
popular item with the MAGA crowd.
So with regards to sports, like Zach said,
Sorry.
there's nothing. There's football this week, and yeah, there was like I honestly I'm looking at the scores now because I have no idea what happened yesterday. All I know is that the one guy for the Redskins is the quarterback's leg broke in half, so he's done now. The Saints beat the shit out of Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And that's about it. That's all I really know that happened. Otherwise, the Bears just committed a war crime down in Tennessee, and
Yeah,
that's all I have left.
It was a bye week for the Rams, so I didn't have to pay attention to anything. But the rest of the division lost. So
It was a bye week for the Browns, and it was 80 degrees and sunny and perfect here yesterday. So
Yeah,
guess where I was? It was not
Yeah.
in the house watching football.
It was beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful day here in the Midwest, as far as just like unseasonably warm, and
Yeah.
and a lot of it was kind of funny because a lot of Bears Twitter was just like, I could be outside doing yard work or like having a good time, just going for a walk, and instead I'm watching this bullshit. These guys out here it's. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go too heavy into the Bears just because it's there's nothing to talk about, but it's just like everyone's been through these games before with their teams to where you're watching it and you're like, why the fuck am I watching this? Like, this is awful. Like, it's a beautiful day outside. I should be doing anything else, but here I am subjecting myself to this crap, and I know I'm going to finish watching it. Why? What's wrong with me?
Well, I think that one of us, Zach and I had a fine week because nothing happened.
again, everyone else in the NFC West lost. So good for me.
How about Seattle getting their asses handed to them by the Bills? That was something, right?
Apparently, Seattle has the worst pass defense in the league this year.
Yeah, I would say so. I have no argument here.
Jake Allen torches you then.
Right. Might be time to do some little looking in the mirror there, guys. So, Mike,
Yeah.
what happened to your boy yesterday?
Look. When Hulk Hogan lost the world title to Lex Luger, it was only for a week before he got it right back. All right. So look here, brother.
What?
Zach doing a what chant in the middle of our show is like one of the most irritating things I've ever experienced. On this podcast.
And you went after us for spin the wheel, make the deal.
I didn't go after anybody. I just let out a big sigh, I think.
And you're starting a what now?
Anyway, I'll stop.
In all seriousness, the Bucks got their asses kicked, and I actually had somewhat of kind of Chargers flashbacks to a degree. Specifically, like the Chargers had this thing, right, where like Chargers had this really bad habit of you go into a game with a game plan, and when the game plan's not working, you should change it. You should adjust. But then the Chargers never would, and they just kill themselves. And that's kind of what I saw. Like, the Bucks obviously went in going like, we're gonna go pass heavy. And I don't know why they felt that was gonna work, but whatever, they did. That's their game plan. Whatevs. But when it was clear that it wasn't working, when it was clear that the pass game wasn't happening, they really should have adjusted to a more balanced attack, and they didn't. And, you look at it, and at a certain point, New Orleans has just scored so much that you go, well, that's the game. It's over. And you just wonder, like, you just wonder if you're Bruce Arians or Brian Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, or even Tom Brady. Like, you go, like, at what point does the game plan have to clearly not be working before you decide to change it up? And it's like,
here's the weird thing. So, like, the Buccaneers, aside from Blaine Gabbert's kneel down at the end, there was only 4 legitimate rushing attempts by Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And it's not like you would say, like, oh, well, was Tom Brady throwing the ball a lot? No, didn't throw it really any more than Drew Brees did. Mm-hmm. But 3 interceptions, 3 sacks.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The team just played like garbage, and Drew Brees and the Saints played awesome.
And you know what? They didn't look that great against the Giants last week either, to be honest. Now, that could be looking past them to the Saints. But if you're going to look past the team and play poorly against them, you should really show up for the team you're looking past them to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't seem to happen. So I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about Brady because I know better. So I don't know what happened.
I mean, like, I just got to think it's one of these cases where, for whatever reason, the passing game just wasn't working, and someone should have, called an audible. Someone should have called multiple audibles and been like, hey, maybe we go to a more balanced attack. Maybe we emphasize the ground game more in the second half because, we're clearly not making it happen through the air, which goes back to, what I've, said occasionally on this show, which is that I kind of think that, like, being a football coach might be easier than we've all been led to believe, and that everyone who is a football coach is maybe an idiot.
The problem with changing your game plan at halftime, Mike, is that you're already down 31-0.
Well, I mean, no, obviously this is a case where, adjustments should have been made on the fly. My point is, like, I just don't, what I'm getting at is that I don't understand why, whoever was in charge of making, this play call, these play calls, didn't make this adjustment before it was too late. I mean, I'm watching the game. I've never coached a down of football in my life. I'm no one special here. And even I just, casual football fan observer, I'm going, like, the pass game isn't working. What are you doing? Like, and if I can see that, then surely the people being paid millions of dollars to call football plays should see that. But
I think it goes back to they don't sleep enough. I'm serious. I just think
that's why Marv Levy is, like, the champion. Didn't he, like, keep a fucking, like, 8-hour workday or something? Like, he didn't do that crazy shit or something. Like,
I don't know. I know Steve Spurrier did, and he was like, you see what working 70 hours a week did for so and so, and it's like, and then they kicked his ass twice in the same season, and that was that.
That's always a weird thing for me. Like it's just from a Bears vacuum. Like, there's the current coach Matt Nagy makes a lot of just buffoonish, weird decisions in regards to time management and timeouts. And I think that's, there's a lot of NFL coaches that do that. But, a very common argument you hear online, especially on Twitter, in game, is that, like, I could have done that better. I could have, handled this situation better. And it's like, well, while 98% of the time that's completely incorrect, the 2% of the time is like, well, you had a full night of sleep for most of the nights this week. This guy has been watching, film and, growing through X's and O's and whiteboards and shit till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and waking up after like 3 hours and doing the same thing all day. And
not only that, but he's also got the defensive coordinator yelling in his ear, the offensive coordinator, special teams, receiver, all those people up in the booth, all talking to him at the same time. It's like the reverse of being a director of a TV show where you go, everybody shut the fuck up. I talk, no one else does. He's like, it's just, yeah. So for us to say that, and I've been on football sidelines, and it's chaos down there. Zach, just even in high school, you can see it, right?
But
it's like chaos. I mean, it's like
the question is though. Is this really a job that requires someone to be up till 3 a.m?
Oh hell no! I've said.
And I don't think it is like
we've had this discussion at least 6 times.
Yeah, like it's entirely possible that I truly believe one could be a successful football coach keeping like a 9 to 5 workday. Like, geez, I mean, I get it. It's an X's and O's game. It's human chess to a degree. But also, at the end of the day, it's just football. It shouldn't be this complicated.
Well, and despite however much preparation you can do, there's no amount of preparation that can make the Chargers not Charger, as Chaos Blast pointed out there in the chat. This was different than their other weeks. This was different than their other weeks where they weren't blowing a big lead. They were trying to come back, and it's like, oh, they got a touchdown. Oh, they didn't. Game's over. Sorry, Chargers.
You know what though? What's his name? Justin Herbert.
Herbert, yeah,
he's good. He's a good.
He
player.
deserves better. He needs to get out of there.
I think it was the Bill Simmons podcast. They should trade him to the Browns for like Baker Mayfield, 2 first-round picks. I was like, I'm on the phone making that deal right now. I will do that tomorrow.
Seriously. Like, he just needs to get out of the. Look, Justin. I'm going to tell you a story about a man named Philip Rivers, and a promising career that was no more.
Yeah, Philip had a rough day. For Indy. Did you see him try to make that tackle sitting on his ass?
He tried. Yeah.
Look, I got to give it to him, man. He's still trying.
Yeah, I think he's done. You know what they were talking? Speaking of the Bill Simmons podcast, they were talking about the rookie quarterbacks today, and it was like, and I thought about what Mike has been saying all along. Like, there's no need to sit these guys anymore. You've got Tua, you've got Herbert, you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Kyler Murray's not a rookie this year, but he's young.
No, he's second year. Yeah.
Who else is out there? I mean, these guys are playing ball, man.
Well, I mean, obviously we say that, college football is not the same as the NFL, and all those jokes like, oh, Alabama could beat the Jets. It's like, no, they couldn't.
No, they couldn't. They would never even be close. No.
But
the Jets are still starting Joe Flacco this week, so
the Jets might be the worst professional football team of all time.
Boy, are they bad.
But in terms of college of pro readiness, I think that the college game has evolved to a degree that if you have a quarterback who's ready to be drafted, it's no longer a case where it's like, oh, they need to learn the pro game. Like we've seen guys come right out of the gate and just absolutely kill it. So I really don't see the point to making guys wait.
I think there's also a lot of tradition that is being eschewed now, to where like there's historically that has come from college, to where it's like the seniors always play over the underclassmen, always like they will, these guys haven't earned it. These veterans must always be the first, get the first opportunity before you go out there and put a rookie in. That's really, I mean, obviously there's been cases over the years, the past, 20 years, where a first top 5, whatever quarterback will come in and be the obvious starter going into the season. But I feel like for the most part now, it's really almost a waste of time in a lot of cases, only because there's certain quarterbacks like Johnny Manziel, for example, who came out of the spread and things like that, to where you had some concerns over if they can work under pocket and stuff like that. But I feel like it's also a lot of offensive coordinators who become head coaches that are younger, who essentially said, I'll just curate my offense to suit the talent that's available to me, and this guy's got incredible skill set, so I will make a system that accommodates them. And it's
and even what you said, Andy, about the seniors have to start over the freshmen, that's not even that true anymore.
No,
like the amount of true freshmen that come in and play extremely well in college football, it's insane now. Like it goes all the way down, and like go to high school, there are number 1 freshmen that were beating out the incumbent or backup, starter or whatever.
Don't you think too with football coaching, shouldn't it always be a good coach would always be the guy that says, okay, this is the personnel I have. What can I do to get the most out of it?
You'd think so, but yeah, that rarely happens.
I know.
Well,
Which is why I say that I think most football coaches might be idiots. Like, I don't know.
Well, I always say it takes a special kind of idiot to be a football coach, so maybe I'm right about that. I don't know.
For example, there's a lot of people. I mean, again, I'm just going to go right back to what I know, which is the unfortunate Bears, to where you have a coach who has a system and wants to take the players and make them fit into his system, even if it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of decrying over how the Bears' current coach has handled that, but that's not an unusual thing. There's been plenty of coaches in college and especially the NFL who are like, "This is my system. If you guys come in and it doesn't work, I'm not going to change anything." But the thing you have to think about is when you have like a young quarterback, for example, that comes in and you're saying, no, you did the spread and the shotgun, you're going to work under center and you're going to do West Coast, and they suck. And at some point, you'd think that a lot of these coaches would have the wherewithal and humility to say, well, they're not working with what I'm cooking. Why don't I just change things up to accommodate them? But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's an ego thing or just a stubbornness thing. There's plenty of coaches, most of them of the old world mentality or lower tier, who simply say like, well, we're just going to ride this thing out the entire season. And if we go, 2 and whatever, then that's fine. We'll reconfigure next season. I don't understand how few coaches in the NFL simply say like, well, they can't make many changes in season. And I know that's a lot of work, and I know it's a pain in the ass. But like, as an NFL coach, a lot of teams are not hesitant to just lay people off. It's been every year now, Black Monday, Black Tuesday, where piles of coaches get laid off every year. And, how many, what was the last, I'm trying to think of the last longest tenured NFL coach, maybe the guy in Cincinnati, Marvin Lewis. I think.
Yeah.
He was there for a million years, but that's a Browns thing. I don't know.
Thing.
Or Bengals thing. Sorry. Yeah. No, they're quite the opposite. They fire everybody.
You understand.
Yeah. But it's just a thing to where you'd think, your mind logically would tell you that, make changes, take it to exploit your talent, but it is not as ubiquitous as you'd think.
Yeah.
I think that it reminds me of John Elway was just hamstrung by Dan Reeves for like the first however many years of his career, because Dan Reeves tried to get John Elway to be a classic drop back passer and play within a system, and it was like, and they would always be losing, and then you finally go, okay, just do your thing, and then Elway would become Elway, and I never understood that, but
and then he beat Dan Reeves in a Super Bowl. So
he beat Dan Reeves in a Super Bowl, yeah. But I to go back to that, I wonder if it's not so much that they can't, they think they're going to have time once they become the head coach to go, okay, I have the system, I will draft accordingly to my system. I don't know if you can do it that way in the NFL, because I don't think you've got that kind of time.
No,
you really should go in and be like, look, we're going to make this work with who we've got.
You I think you can in some teams, like I think the Steelers are a team that has shown incredible patience when it comes to head coaching. Like, it was Bill Cowher for years, and now it's been Mike Tomlin for years, and it's like the Steelers are a team where when they pick a guy to be their coach, they believe in them, and they.
It also helps that the Steelers generally aren't bad.
But I think that reflects due to just like the way that the organization is run, where it is like, no, they aren't bad. Maybe because they don't completely blow up and hit the reset button every couple of years. Like,
well, I think that too, and I also think that if you look at the Steelers historically, and not even like historically going back to like the 70s, I just mean like in the last 15, 20 years, there was a time when they were a really good defensive team that didn't have a lot of offense. And then they were kind of like a good balance. And then it was like, wow, the offense is amazing, but the defense isn't great. So clearly, something in that organization, they're going, okay, this is what we have. This is what we're going to do. Because they aren't the same team every year. They're not like the same, okay, we're going to run the ball, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like a college system would be. They kind of seem to, like when Roethlisberger was at his peak, they threw the ball a lot more. And I think maybe it's just an organizational thing. Maybe you're right. But yeah. They have changed, even though they've got the same guy for, I don't remember. Oh, by the way, people on the boards, I told you Bill Cowher wasn't coming back to coaching. Will you shut up about it now?
But speaking of the Steelers, with them surviving against the Cowboys this weekend,
God, Wait,
Garrett
Mike,
Gilbert, by
Mike,
the way.
Wait, take aim, baby.
The Steelers have never been 8-0 in franchise history.
Really?
Yeah,
That surprises me. I would never have thought that.
right. You would think with just like the years and decades of success they've had,
yeah.
that they'd be there at some like whether it was Terry Bradshaw or whether it was Roethlisberger. Like at some point you'd be that good. But
Hold on. Pause all thoughts for just 1 second. Is Mike or somebody sitting near a crackling fire or like just like snapping twigs in half over their legs?
Sorry, yeah, no. Sorry, that was that was on my end.
Snapping twigs.
No, it's my chair's being creaky as shit. I took care of it.
Okay. I was trying to visualize what was going on. I thought you were clicking a pen, and I'm like,
No. It's my chair's just being creaky, but I think I fixed it. So
Okay, but carry on with Steelers being good and stuff.
I was going back
I
to
know-
the Steelers thing for a minute, Zach, with the Terry Bradshaw stuff.
yeah,
There were a lot of years during that dynasty where they were trying to like not let him start. They had Joe Gilliam for a while. It was just like you always think of Bradshaw like this Hall of Fame quarterback. He was just the man from the day one, right? It wasn't really like that. If you watch old NFL film stuff, you'll hear him talk about, they were trying to, they did like, I think it was a 75 or one of their really great teams. He didn't even start the season as quarterback, believe it or not. Like a Super Bowl winning team. I don't remember which year it was, but yeah. Anyway.
So, but speaking of coaches, can we talk about Jim Harbaugh again? Because Michigan's just completely imploded.
Indiana this time. Yeah. how about that?
Indiana, yeah.
I think this was the first week I finally saw the how long do they hold on to Harbaugh stories being printed.
Well, you've really got to ask at this point because there was talk, and again, now this is a screwed up season. So I honestly, to be fair to Jim Harbaugh and to pretty much every college coach out there in the big program, I don't know if this is the year you want to make a real strong assessment on anything because it's just been so screwed up, but at the beginning of the season, there was talk that the Wolverines finally had a national championship contender.
Mm-hmm.
And not if you're going to lose to Michigan State and Indiana, you're probably not a national championship contender. I'm just saying.
Well, like I would say that probably broadly, it's best not to base anything off of this season. But with Jim Harbaugh, it's not like this is it's not like this
Right.
is an aberration. Like we've covered his failures extensively, so this isn't out of the blue. This is just really the culmination of a lot of Harbaughing.
Oh, can I also say too that I don't know if this is true, Zach. You can verify this. Did Penn State lose to Rutgers?
Yes.
Oh God, that warms my heart.
Penn
Okay.
State's 0-3.
Oh, by the way, I missed this. I missed this earlier. Chaos Blast asked, even though I live in the U.S., do I still call the 11th of November Remembrance Day? And then Michael Walker said that yes, in the U.S. it is called Veterans Day, but I still call it Remembrance Day. It just force of habit. So yes.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So
Hard to find a poppy down here, Mike. So.
I brought a poppy with me when I moved. Actually,
did you get a poppy? They on Veterans Day they have them, people like the guys out selling them in the streets, or just
I've noticed it's not as big a deal here as it is in Canada.
Yeah, it's not as ubiquitous here as it is.
Really?
The common
Yeah.
I
In
ate a
Canada,
poppy seed
everyone's got a
muffin.
poppy for like a month beforehand.
Oh wow, that's nice. That's a good thing.
I don't know if it counts, but I ate a poppy seed muffin, so I don't know that might.
Oh, there you
those
go.
are
There you
opioids.
go.
It was
I
delicious.
did some opioids. Does that count? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I did some black tar heroin. I don't know that.
Like I don't know if this has ever happened or you know of anyone that. But I remember in high school there was one of my friends. He went to go take a drug test for a job he was getting, and he tested positive. I guess I'm so used to saying tested positive because damn COVID. But anyway, the drug test came back as him taking opioids, and it's like I just had a bagel. that's it. Oh, I hate the poppy seed bagel.
You can still buy poppies in the store and plant them, can't you?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Let's just stop seeing me from planting 500 poppies in my backyard and just come up with some prime opium.
Do you want to do the work?
Well, I don't know how to do the work. I'm just setting myself as an
There's a
example.
difference between planting a garden and becoming a drug dealer.
a drug lord.
Yeah.
So, according to this WinchesterHospital.org, so poppy seed containing foods if large enough quantities are consumed. I assume if it's a bagel, they just really cake the shit out of it with all that stuff. Up to 60 hours. So you don't want to eat any of that stuff if you're going to be getting tested for a job.
Yeah, because no one's going to believe it was from a bagel.
No,
They're just not, which is unfortunate.
Well, I mean, they can't. It's one of those things where you'd hope the employer would say like, okay, well, we'll give it a couple days, we'll try it again or whatever. But yeah, who the hell knows? It's like, do you see any track marks? Do I look like I'm strung out of shit right now?
But you know what though? There's such a stigma attached to opioids now that even if it's just like a poppy seed bagel, people are going to run far and fast in the other direction because there's such a it might have been a guy that had a tooth pulled and took like a couple of Vicodin to get through the pain, and that's all it was. And he tests positive for Vicodin use. They're going to think, well, he's a junkie. I don't know.
Well, like I guess on this point, it just falls on you to be like smart about it and be like, oh, if you have this drug just coming up, and be like, hey, full disclosure,
right?
I've had like a toothache and I've been taking painkillers, or like, hey, I just had a sesame seed, bagel, like,
or I shot up some black tar heroin, whatever.
No, I did some heroin, so can we give this a few days? Just
I feel like they're like whenever somebody starts off a statement with full disclosure, there's always gold after that.
Yeah.
It's always something. Full disclosure, I just shit my pants. I'm not, like it's always something good.
I can't make the presentation later today. I've shit my pants.
Full disclosure.
I myself.
I am functionally illiterate. I just kind of wrote all over I just drew circles all over the application, but I'm a good man and I can push a plow.
I'm a good man from a good family.
Before it gets too late in the game here, we probably should do the wheel stuff.
The wheel, make the deal.
Spin the wheel, make the deal.
Do the wheel, and we can do the jerseys and get out of here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I forgot
what are the jerseys? What are we talking about?
The NBA.
The NBA's.
Yeah, Christ. All right. Jesus, I totally forgot. All right, so let me pull this up here.
It has been quite a week. That's okay.
Yeah, the basketball jerseys. That seems like 2 months ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Eddie? Let me find.
I'm sharing it there. So
there we go. Okay.
So last week, so right now we've got a 3-way tie at the top. Zach, Mike, Greg, 4-2 all. I'm in dead last at 3-3. Thanks.
Who did I lose last week? What was my game?
Dolphins, Cardinals.
I picked the Cardinals, didn't I?
You did pick the Cardinals. Yeah.
I mean, that's a defensible pick.
Yeah, I think so.
And Mike got his toss up right, and Zach had a pretty close one there with the Giants. So this is going to be Zach's pick for spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal. It is Seahawks and Rams. Not an easy pick.
Ooh,
no. Los Angeles Rams, please.
Wow. Okay.
I appreciate that, Zach.
First place, baby. Let's go.
I respect it. I respect that pick.
I mean, I appreciate the homerism that went into that thought process, but
I just love it. No hesitation.
I get it.
Rams, please.
We saw the Buffalo Bills tear the shit out of the Seahawks this weekend.
No, you're right. You're right.
I think the Rams can pass a little bit, so I think they'll be okay.
Okay. This one's for Mike. Let's see who Mike gets. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Oh, and the hometown pick again. Well, not hometown pick, but his former favorite team, Chargers at the Dolphins.
Chargers at Dolphins. God damn, man.
The rookie showdown.
Rookie showdown, but I got to go with Dolphins. Like, now, granted, I'm perfectly willing to say the Chargers will have a 28-point lead at halftime, but that ain't lasting.
Speaking of the Chargers, while we're here, they finally wore those Midnight Sun.
Oh, they looked horrible.
Yeah,
they were horrible.
I had a long discussion with my best friend. Terrible jersey opinions. He thinks that those are some of the best in the league, and he hates the powder blues.
Why?
Has he been smoking black tar heroin or what?
I don't.
Has he had one too many poppy seed muffins? Or?
Right?
I don't know. It's like, you're not going to convince me that the powder blues are good. I'm like, but they're the best jerseys in football. What are we talking about?
Yeah, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did play Ram at Chaos Blast. I'm sorry, but it wasn't on. Hear me do it real quick. Here you go. Sure. There you go. Sorry about that. I was entertaining the hell out of myself over here, but okay. All right. Well, who's up next? Wait,
this is your Greg. This is your pick. Let's see who you got here. So we've had Zach's Rams, Mike's former Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. All right.
Oh fuck. Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
Okay, that's probably the smart choice.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos are pretty bad. Lost to the Falcons this weekend. Oof.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Spin the wheel. Oh, have we done?
I got mine here. So the Eagles at Giants. Ooh,
Oh, dude.
The battle for the soul of the NFC East.
I'll take the
Is
Eagles
this a
to
first
win
place
that one.
game now? God damn it.
No, I think even if the Giants win, they'll still technically be behind the Eagles because that stupid tie. But
I hate
I'll
this
take
division.
I'm choosing the Eagles, so we can just all move on to talking about the new swag.
All right, who's got the jerseys? Should we?
Let me find them here. Are they on the mothership?
They're on the mothership,
yeah,
yeah.
they're all up there.
All right, let me
Yeah,
remove
yeah.
God.
this computer.
God damn it! Why is the NFC? You know what? This division better reward us with our 6-10 division winner.
Well,
at the end of
dude,
this to make it all
I think at this
worthwhile.
point, 6 wins is going to be tough to get to.
Well,
We might be looking at a 5 or 4 win team.
I was not ready to dare to dream about a 5. I thought that was maybe gilding the lily a bit too much, but you know, God, at this point,
I don't know. I think the Eagles might ruin it in the end somehow.
I'm Garrett Gilbert. Take Garrett Gilbert and take the Cowboys to a 6-10 record to win this division. That's what I think.
You know, I will buy a Gilbert jersey if that happens.
Me too. I will. I absolutely will. Do my championship T-shirt.
Or I'll wear my Dallas Cowboys division champion hat with my Orlando Apollo's Gilbert jersey.
There you go. All right. We ready to add this to the stream? Here we go. Okay. Oh, well, that's not terrible.
No, the San Antonio one's good. I think that's one of the few legitimately
Yeah, I kind of like that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing back the Fiesta colors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love the Fiesta stripes. I'm so glad they embraced them because, like, it to me that was one of the unique things about the Spurs when I was started watching the NBA in the '90s was that they wore black and silver and white, and that's it. But then on their court or some of their logos, they had that cool Fiesta streak, and I'm like, damn, that's really flavorful and fun. And now they're finally integrating
that
it.
confused the hell out of me as a kid playing like NBA Jam or just following basketball in general in the late '90s, just being like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, no, this looks good. This looks like a perfectly acceptable San Antonio Spurs alternate uniform.
And they got the spur as the eye on the Antonio is pretty clever, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's San Antonio. Here's Toronto, which
is that the Drake color scheme, Mike? Is that what that is?
That's a Drake color scheme.
Yep.
I don't like it. I don't like. I don't like the way Toronto looks in the '90s Raptor font.
I don't know if I would like this even if it was in normal colors.
Yeah, no, and there's such a disconnect between like the jaggedy '90s font of the name and the modern, like really simplistic font for the numbers. Like not that, and we gotta move on from Drake, guys. So
global ambassador Drake.
He is global ambassador Drake.
I think that somebody like needs to tell Toronto. It's like, guys, there's more than 2 colors. You can go. You have a whole world of color you can use. And I just feel like that's unfortunately part of what Toronto's just become generally is like a 2-color jersey. Always, there's no like accents with purple. I think there are now, maybe the newer ones. I can't recall, but like anytime I see a jersey like this, it just feels cheap.
The new ones are just red and black, and they've taken the We the North chevron, like reverse chevron thing, and made that just say Raptors, which is like meh.
Yeah,
that's about how I feel about this one in general. Yeah.
Now this is garbage.
Oh
This
boy.
is real bad.
Oh boy.
This is like like a youth league YMCA jersey that they give you for free.
Yeah.
This
is like no. This is exactly what happens like when you play at the local Y in the youth league and they have like 5 teams and they're all named after NBA teams. Where they all the same jersey template where it just like has the name around a number. It's like, oh, you're the Knicks. Okay.
No, I definitely wore a purple jersey with white block numbers and called it the Jazz. Yeah. That's something that happened.
Yeah.
This has got a whole lot going on. You've got kind of a roundel happening there. You got some gradient working in there.
You got gradient in the roundel.
Right. The gradient roundel. That's a tough combination to pull off, as you can see.
I don't know if they pulled it off.
They didn't.
Necessarily.
They did not.
And I don't like the way that they've chosen to lay out the words in the roundel because it's not like equidistant.
New York Knicks is sideways.
It doesn't even start like up at the top. It starts like I don't know what 10 degrees, like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It reads to me, City never sleeps, New York Knicks.
Yeah,
Like, that's how it
right,
reads to
that's
me.
how I read it.
Like
Yeah.
this is all objectively
This is
horrible.
it's garbage.
This is what happened. You know what pisses me off the most is that, first of all, this is clearly on somebody's like bed. They just threw this on their like crappy sheets, the sheets, however, are better designed than the uniforms. I'll give the sheets that. But the other thing is that like people probably commented on the Instagram or whatever they posted this where it was just fire, like 100 fire. Like people probably love this crap, and I just don't. I don't know.
Objectively, the worst of all the things that have been leaked. Objectively, the worst one.
This
I'm not so sure
I'm
about
not
that
sure
just
about
yet.
that, but this is
Yeah.
pretty piss poor.
But you
Again,
know,
like you could go to the local Y and find a better jersey than that. Like
but
that-
seriously, guys, I mean, if you other than the San Antonio one, and we've seen a lot of these, we haven't got to them all yet. But I don't think any of these. San Antonio's is pretty good. The rest of them don't even look like NBA jerseys.
quite frankly,
They
I
look like
love
something you would win at the fucking carnival if you knock down 3 cats with a baseball or whatever.
Quite
couple
frankly,
that
I
are
liked the
okay,
game
but-
we were playing. It's like, can you guess which team this
Yeah.
is? It's like,
Yeah.
Shall we move
All
on?
right,
Yeah.
moving
that's,
on.
that's
A
Um,
thieves Bucks uniform here.
I mean,
It's,
come, that's a
uh,
fucking T-shirt.
It's yes, it's not the jersey. It's just.
Oh, okay. Thank God. For a moment, I thought that,
No.
that Nike was doing Adidas's sleeve shit.
No, some of these leaks are just jerseys.
Sure, these
Okay.
can.
It's Greek inspired for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Seriously?
Because the flag
Yeah.
is blue in Greece. Is that
Yeah,
what
the-
that
the
is?
Greek flag is
Blue and white, yeah.
Well, sorry, that's a long way to go.
We
I'm
all
not-
hey,
know
no. So the
that
Bucks,
he's signing of someone else, right? Like after this.
Yeah,
but the Bucks have some blue. The Bucks do have some blue in their color scheme. They had
Yeah,
like.
but they shouldn't. That's the
I
thing.
thought it was fine. I thought it was fine.
No!
Well, no, I do agree with Mike in that it's and I agree with both of you. It's fine as like a tertiary quaternary color,
Yeah.
but it is not. It's not
Oh,
going to be
God.
elevated to main.
Yeah,
to main
it's just
status.
you take the blue and you just kind of, it's a very gentle, rarely seen thing. But in this case, it's obviously, well, this to me is a microcosm of the NBA jersey scene as a whole, to where it's like every team is 18 different alts and they don't mean anything, and home jerseys don't mean anything, and nothing means anything as far as jerseys. It's all just marketed to shit. And I just don't.
LeBron James and the Cavs did this his first go around when they had like 13 different jerseys.
They did this the second go around too.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. So both times it's their fault.
Lest we forget the land jersey.
Oh God. You know, I saw one of those in a TJ Maxx back before the world ended.
Yeah.
They still wanted $70 for that thing. I was like, "This $10, I'll give it to you, but not for 70, not yet." But I bet you they're probably cheaper.
Have
now.
you ever seen one in the wild? Like, have you ever seen like a person just out and about wearing a land?
in the wild? No, I have not. I have
Thank
not.
God. Okay.
Never. No.
Press it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Washington Wizards.
Oh, I like the side panels, kinda. I dig
No,
those.
they're tacky.
Nah.
I mean, it's
What?
Washington
Well, this looks
DC.
like like you buy at Walmart. Like,
Right? At least we've
Okay.
upgraded from the Carnival to Walmart at this point, so there's that, I guess.
I feel like if this was white instead of silver, it would look a lot better. But what you have here is you have some cool side panels that are kind of like old. To me, they're cool. I think there's a lot of room for opportunity there. But the horrible DC logo has never worked. It still doesn't work. You have these weird round fingers and sharp serifs on the D and the C. You have this weird
Look.
compressed, like skinny number.
Well,
Like
Uh,
there's
we've
potential, but it's mostly wasted.
we've talked about this before too. Like logos on the front of basketball jerseys don't work,
no.
and especially
really.
something like this where like it's so much taller than it is wide, so it just like it doesn't look like it. It looks odd. They're like there's all this unused real estate.
Also, going just by this DC logo and how they seem to like it, Wizards, just be the Bullets again.
God damn it, right? I was just gonna say the same thing.
You're basically the Bullets again. Just be the Bullets again.
Yeah,
God.
They can't though. You know that.
Why not?
Well, I mean, so there's opportunity
Gun
here.
violence.
They
I
should
know.
just be-
I mean, I know but still.
So I don't see why you don't just go all around the city. And this could be the Washington basketball team. Just kind of call it a day. Everyone's got, Washington has no branding. They're just the basketball team and the
And
football.
then you go to the Capitals, who have a perfectly fine name. You force them to rebrand because it's like, not sorry, we're like doing a thing citywide.
Well, they could be like the Capitals hockey team. How about that? The Washington Capitals hockey team.
Capital Hockey Team, yeah, Capital Hockey Club.
There you go.
Or you just make it all caps, and it was just the hockey team is in all caps, and then you're done.
I
Anyway.
still think I'm going to go back to the Washington football team. We've given you your name. You just got to go with the 32s. That's a great name. It's a great identity.
It's really not bad.
No, it would work.
Yeah.
Okay, here
Lakers.
we go, Zach. Defend.
Okay,
I've
so
seen
look,
worse.
Here's my thing. When you consider everything that is the Lakers, I don't like it. But when you think of when I think about in theory, so the reason that they're doing this and they're the Hardwood Classic one, which I'm sure we'll show at some point, it's their 60th anniversary of moving from Minneapolis to LA, and in the first 6, 7, 8 years that they were in LA, they wore the blue and white.
Mhm.
So there's some alternate universe where the Lakers didn't change their colors. This is what their jerseys would look like today, most likely. And it also doesn't hurt them that the Dodgers also just won, so these things are going to sell like hotcakes. I don't like the silver. The silver really ruins it for me. But I get what they're doing otherwise, and it's fine. I hate the silver. Silver's bad.
What really makes me happy about this jersey is this. I don't know what the word would be. Sorry, my dogs are freaking out. The what would you call these on the uniforms? The striping on the neck and the sleeve.
Striping, trim, yeah.
Trim. Like, to me, this is every basketball jersey should have this. When it doesn't have this, I get irritated. And I hope that this is a trend that picks people up into doing this more with their uniforms. I mean, there's nothing really objectionable about it. You can nitpick some colors and stuff, but I mean, there's nothing really crazy going on with this. It's fine, but I mean, again, it's unnecessary. You're taking an already amazing, pretty much perfect brand and just fluffing it up for no reason because money. And I get it, but it's also to me pretty dumb.
The thing that this jersey does too, which a lot of these alternates actually do, which I like, is the collar shape. It's doing the traditional like hoop shape rather than these V-necks or like the hard angles and stuff like that. It's like it's just a good basketball jersey. I just would prefer. I mean, it's basically what the normal jersey is, the blue and white, but it's fine. But
Any other thoughts?
No.
It's not the most objectionable one we've seen or will see. So
that's where I'm at. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
In fact, let's get to two worse.
Ooh, this one I forgot about.
So this one, I don't like it for one reason only.
They don't play in Oakland.
You just moved from Oakland.
Well, I think that also
finally going to wear these Oakland jerseys in San Francisco. Good job, Golden State Warriors.
Well,
I don't know where you play anymore.
I don't understand because you had the awesome, like the Warriors variant of this uniform was awesome. Like, just wear that with a modern cut and be done. Why bother with this Oakland crap? You know, like nobody.
This is. I think all of this is because they are completely out of ideas at Nike. They don't know what the fuck to do next.
Then just bite the bullet and do what Andy said and just wear a straight this is our late '90s throwback.
Well, but doesn't it look like we're getting to the point now where this when we were talking about doing the new uniforms for the Warriors, I don't know how many years ago it was when they went to the copper plate and all that.
Yeah,
this was like idea number 37. It was on the board, and they're like, "Well, we can't really use that, but hang on to it just in case." And we're down to like idea 37 now with every team. It's awful. It's just unbelievable. It's like if you can't do any better than this, don't bother. This is like something I would design, except not even as good.
It's not the design that bothers me. It's the whole.
Oh, I see.
Golden State Warriors of San Francisco, but sometimes Oakland when we feel like it.
I think it looks cheesy. It just looks like it. Again, it's a carnival jersey. It's because you can't get a licensed product. You can't get a third mark licensed product. So you go out to the screen printer and go, make me something that looks kind of like a Warriors jersey, and that's what shows up. Yeah,
I agree with you on that. It doesn't look this. Yeah, like
it's what's wrong with this?
It doesn't have the personality of that. Like there's something missing.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this crap off the screen. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Is that it?
No,
there's like two more articles of these things.
Let's see.
Yeah, so there's
after
that's-
Oakland.
Oh Christ!
There's all that one. You gotta
So
go.
is that? Oh, there's more on the first page. Okay.
Yeah,
let me-
yeah.
is
No,
it?
go back up. Go back up, and then click on like the sports logos news banner down.
Oh,
Just
another
the blue
news.
bar. Just the blue bar. Yeah.
Just click on the blue bar
Oh.
right there. There you go. There you got
How
it.
do I internet? All right. So
Scroll down. And then wherever you see the NBA logo with a snorkel. There you go.
there we go. Okay. Ah, yes.
Oh,
Chicago Bulls.
Jesus, really?
My
yeah.
Chicago
here-
Bulls.
Here's the thing. If this wasn't the Chicago Bulls, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's a
but
cool
it
looking
is.
jersey. It's got some good design. I'm a sucker for a good Art Deco look. This is great. It's just not.
There's
If there
better.
was a new Chicago basketball team coming in and they had these jerseys, I would be all down for them.
I think though that I'm with you, Zach. I love Art Deco too, but there's so much better Chicago-based Art Deco to choose from than that. Like, there's much better stuff. I think this is all right, but if you're gonna go Art Deco, I mean, really go, lean into it. But I'm not crazy about this.
Is the no plans a reference to a famous quote that I'm not getting? I don't.
You're
it
the
was
one from
Chicago.
Chicago. I wouldn't know. Like,
Wait,
Chicago
listen,
it was a Chicago slogan from like back in that era. I think
It is
Okay.
architectural thing. I believe I read something about this jersey.
Yeah. Okay. Here's an article from 1992.
Great. So we have learned here at the sports show, 1992 news breaking here.
No, I read it. I read it with the picture of the
Okay.
damn jersey.
Yeah, it's Burnham. Burnham. Do you know of a man named Burnham?
No.
I am.
Daniel Burnham, famous Chicago somebody.
Architect, right? Maybe it was on UniWatch. I read about this, but yeah, they were talking about it, and it was.
Yeah, he's a famous architect.
Yeah.
there
You know what Chicago quote I believe? It's burning. It's all on fire. Like, that's what I would believe. Like the reference to the Great Chicago. But like this, for whatever reason, to me, it reminds me of like in the chat, Jeremy said the same thing. It's if you're Hollywood than Chicago. It kind of makes me feel like an old like 40s Hollywood or LA. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't. Doesn't feel.
That's what I mean. There's better Art Deco out there than this.
I mean, I think it's neat. Like, to Zach's point, like, it is a cool idea, and maybe in practice these things will actually look pretty slick. But again, look, we got some trim here. That's an optimistic sign. I do enjoy that there is some proper trim. So good for them.
So
I have a question
the guy
about
that
these.
made the quote, Daniel Burnham. He's
Yeah.
responsible for the plan of Chicago, the master plan of Chicago back in the day.
Oh, the master plan. That's always a good way to describe
He-
things.
He also, in Chicago, he designed the Masonic Temple building. Is that still
Oh, now it's really getting weird.
Chicago School of Architecture? Yeah, it's an architecture thing.
I was gonna ask if the if the grand plan, the master plan of Chicago, involved it being 1985 forever.
Okay.
If we could only make that work, yes. Okay.
There was some good, you think about 85 Chicago, you had the Bears. There was a lot of movies that were based in Chicago back then.
Now,
for fuck's sake.
would you like my thought on this one?
Sure.
If your jersey needs to include a comma, probably pretty bad.
Yeah. No. That's an accurate. That I'm fine with that as a take. That's fine.
Is anyone that follows sports and knows the United States of America, do they need to be told that the Motor City is in Detroit, Michigan? Do you really need to know that?
Well, again, this is complete Walmart jersey. There's
I'm
logo on it.
going with the Carnival jersey again. This isn't even Walmart level. This
Like-
is that bad.
Again, it says powered by Pistons at the bottom. But if you didn't have that on there, if you took off the NBA logo, this is just like a generic Detroit basketball jersey.
It's a Carnival jersey. It's what you win with the stuffed animal. Yeah, come on.
For whatever reason in my head, I read that as powered by piss, and it just felt like more appropriate.
That's Nike. That's Nike's design philosophy these days. Nike powered by piss.
Greg, to your point, this feels like you call it a Carnival jersey. I would call it a flea market jersey.
Yeah.
Flea market. That's a perfect example of it. Yeah, flea market. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, it just looks like third, fourth hand. Like somebody again, like an alien.
Didn't even put any design to the words. They just put them on there in a circle. They didn't even draw the circle.
Hey man, this is the entire Indiana Pacers identity right here. So like, there's no if anyone
that's a good point.
blame their asses. Like it's just everyone wants to just
Remember
have
when
a-
the Pacers looked good?
But you know,
Back in
you look at that
2000?
though, like you see that, and it's like Andy said, it's like this is a flea market jersey or a festival, fair, carnival jersey. You don't have the rights to use any of the stuff, so you do this instead. And but of course, to be honest about it, if this were a true flea market jersey, it would say Pistons across the top and all that, and they would just say, "Fuck it, we don't care." But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. It's just they're not very. I don't even.
Is it better than is it better than the Knicks one?
Yeah, but
They
that's
look
like saying is breaking your toe better than breaking your.
they look they
ankle.
look like two jerseys from the same youth league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I can't look at this anymore. I'm moving on.
No, we don't even.
Oh no!
Oh no.
They thought it was so cool and white, and they thought that, hey, we definitely deserve to wear this, so we're gonna make it black.
We deserve to wear this after that blown 3-1 lead. That was.
But you did like no, you don't get to do this. Sorry.
We definitely represent the hard parts of LA, like when we turtled to a team from fucking Denver. That was
You had the chance to earn these, and you didn't even get to the dance floor. So sorry.
Can we just pack this fucking team up and move it somewhere else?
back to Buffalo. Bring back the Braves.
Damn right.
Do it.
You know,
Go to San Diego. They'd be fine.
Put them to San Diego. Bring the Chargers back to San Diego. What's the other team? Just fold the Falcons and like give Atlanta an expansion team or some shit. Let's just straighten this whole mess out.
Again, we've gone over this. Like the old English lettering. It's like no one in Compton is going to accept you. And then the alternating blue and red like trim is bad. It's bad.
Let's go. Again, I'd say let's go to Compton. Let's see between the Lakers and the Clippers, which team has more gear on display.
I guarantee you, more of those white and blue Laker jerseys will sell than these.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be more interesting if they ran with the old English irrationally and came out in uniforms that look like this. Like if you really want to own the old English thing.
The old Clippers.
They're like it's like well shit, the Compton thing isn't working, but we invested so much in all this old English merchandise. What do we do? It's like
ye old with an E, and then they would transpose the R and the E at the end of Clippers.
Right? Yeah.
Ye old Clippers basketball. Merriment.
No, not club. It would be
merriment. It's because it's like a traveling troupe of bards.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
great.
some there's definitely you're opening doors to some really racist stuff there. But I feel like it would be just very amusing to have them wear cod pieces and kind of throw loaves of bread to the starving audience and stuff like that. I don't know. That'd be. Yeah, that sucks. That's stupid, and they should hate.
PSAs about how to avoid the plague.
That's okay. Here we go. Look at right. That's funny, Mike. Good, well done. It took me a minute. I had to back up and catch it, but yeah, that was really good. You talk about your flea market jersey. Look at this shit.
This makes me sad. This jersey makes me sad because the Heat had such a good thing going with the Miami Vice look, right?
Yeah.
And then it's been reduced to this, and I just wanna. Why? Why didn't you just let it be beautiful? Why didn't you just let it be perfect like it was? Why did you have to keep changing it until it became this?
Well, let me tell you why. I know exactly why. What's that?
They had to kill the golden goose.
No, I think what this is that they are using this, and they'll probably for another year or two. I think what this is actually a testing. I think they're putting out different ones of these every year with different thought experiments as far as how to do the design for when the next time the Heat get rebranded. It will absolutely be in this this pink and blue black kind of color. And I think what they're trying to do is get an idea of how sales respond to each different kind. In each different variant to see how they're going to handle the rebrand when eventually they get away from the Heatles kind of look. But yeah, this is stupid. Just on the whole, it's dumb.
Does it change color in sunlight? When it gets wet, does it revert to the other color? Like what
That
are
would
those
be
jerseys?
great.
Like not the jersey.
Like the sunglasses that get darker and lighter in sunlight.
Like I'd be a lot more pleased with this if the backdrop on the numbers was solid, if the like depth was white or something. That'd be kind of interesting at least. But again, this is not. It's just not for something that's as like ambitious as the idea behind it is. It's just not really well executed and it's kind of bland. Okay, so the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
here.
the rest of those are courts. We don't have to look at the courts.
No, but still, that's kind of something we could look at here down the line. There's cool stuff going on in Portland, and
there's another leak article that he's looking to go through.
There's one more.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
No, scroll down.
Go
that one, the Oregon.
That one, right? Yeah. This was the one that got this whole thing.
What the fuck is this?
That's the Horde. That's the Pelicans.
I strangely kind of like this. I don't.
It's the flag of New Orleans.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't hate it.
You think I would have known that after watching the geography guy?
I mean, I feel like the guy. I hate saying the guy. I don't know what player this is.
I don't know if that's a player.
Is that
that's just a model? Yeah.
It's not Zion. It's just
Zion.
It's just a dude. He looks really like he's been there all day, and he's like, "Is this you guys gonna keep taking the same photograph?" Anyway, it's I mean, I don't like this red paneling crap, but it's fine. Oh, holy shit! So
I think this should be, or I think that you could have used this to like this is our like say the Lakers, our California Wildfire jersey. Like that's our tribute to that.
Oh yeah, that is kind of what it looks like. Isn't it?
No, it's a desert sunset.
I thought this was a Jazz jersey when I first saw it.
Until I looked at it, and then you see the Phoenix Suns at the bottom. But yeah, the Valley of the Sun. It's really only something that like if you live in Phoenix.
So we've had the North, the land, the Bay, the district, and now the Valley.
The town,
don't forget the city,
the town, and the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We need the country at some point, and I don't mean country as in big city. I mean like the country as in out in the middle of the fucking boonies country.
Well, that's what the Pacers are for.
There's going to be a jersey that says "the" on it, and that's going to be the end of it. The.
It'll be an Ohio State jersey.
Oh
yeah, no shit.
Hey, I had to go back and make a reference to a show from like 4 weeks ago. We were talking about the number 0. I think Ohio State is now giving out 0 for the O block, which is a student section, and one of their defensive players was wearing 0 last week, and it looked we'll have to dig into it, but yeah. Anyway, moving along.
Table
that's another flea market jersey, by the way. I think
it's just like if you want to scroll back up here for a second, Andy.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just how many teams do we need to let them do the like pixelated skyline?
Mm-hmm.
Like Denver did it, Dallas did it. Now we're gonna let Phoenix.
The only one who should do it is Denver because they have like the precedent. Like that was their thing for a while. So if Denver wants to do it, sure, but everyone else needs to just fuck off.
Yeah, like I think I like the colors.
Not to put too fine a point on it or anything, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I would never think of the Phoenix Suns and say the Valley. It's just like, and I'm somebody that lived there. I get the Valley of the Sun, but like nobody. No. Anyway.
All right. This is the one that it's like really.
This was the one that made us ask the question. Wait, who? What team is this?
Wait a minute.
You want to take a guess, Andy, without looking?
Oh, I know what team it is. I mean, it's the Portland Trailblazers, but I mean, the what I'm confused about is what is this? What is this?
It's some coloring tones on the thing to represent the nature of the beauty of the nature of Oregon.
Whatever. Just like
Andy's just been completely broken. Like,
well, it's just
whatever. Make a hand jerking motion.
Like the Trailblazers have arguably like the NBA's most timeless and like perfected uniforms, and yet
I think they have one of not the best in the league. But
and then they have like right up there for sure.
Is this supposed to be a tree cutting or a topographical map? Like, what is this line work back here?
Probably topographical map.
Okay, and then you have.
Are you serious?
Maybe, I don't know.
I
And
figured
then
it
you
was
have
a
this
tree cutting.
Oregon tourism font that you've just
Well, no,
slapped across.
what it is you guys know the Portland like sign with like
No,
the
I don't.
deer?
Oh,
It's-
the deer, right? Okay, yeah, the
Yeah,
deer.
it's like
yeah.
it's a big neon sign. It's the outline of Oregon. It says Portland, Oregon. It has a giant electric deer. That's the same Oregon from that sign. So that's where they didn't just like make that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you know what pisses me off the most about this more than anything is that so
Stupid G.
Oregon, yeah, because clearly what happened was the guy who sent the design into the sign maker, like he had the loop of the G finished down here, but then the guy put it into his like metal cutting program or whatever, and it cut off, and he printed it all anyway, and he's like, "There you go, there's your shine." And they were like, "Wait a minute, you cut off the fucking G. Where's the rest of the G?"
It looks unfinished. I thought it was a mistake in the picture, but that's the way it's supposed to look.
That is the
I
way
just-
it's supposed to look.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
That is a lie. That is a complete. Somebody fucked up. That's
And
what
then
that
they're
is.
like, "Hey, you know our stupid sign that's broken? Let's put it on a jersey."
Right?
Well, again, but like you look at this, and yes, okay, Oregon, Portland, but team colors, design, there's nothing in here that makes me think, oh yeah, Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, well,
You know what? If you're gonna do this stupid idea, go all the way. I know it like treads into the Bucks territory, but put the deer on. Like, if you're gonna fully commit to the stupid Oregon sign, like,
yeah, or at least do like a neon or whatever that thing. It wasn't neon exactly, but yeah, go that route at least for Pete's
And
sake.
I
Yeah.
find it very arrogant that we will always be here. Well, these jerseys won't be here, man. These
No.
jerseys are going.
Here,
So, so look at
I
this.
have,
You have
I have the team article of
oh
the-
no,
boy.
yeah,
So
okay.
let me see if I
Carry
can
on.
find the thing. According to the team, the uniform celebrates the unique beauty of Oregon's landscape, as well as acknowledging and honoring the tribal nations throughout what is now considered Oregon.
Yeah.
Where?
From
How?
the beginning. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'm sure there's a whole thing. The Oregon stitched across the chest of the uniform in an iconic font. The earth tone colors were chosen to represent the beautiful landscape of Oregon. Then a thing about the jersey sponsor will donate some of the jersey sales to the Native American Youth and Family Center. That's nice. Oh, that's it. Oh no, more details about the uniform are available at this link. So let's. They have a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
NBA.com/Blazers/uniforms.
Oh God.
Let's dive into it.
They've
I'm
got
pulling
a
it
whole
up here.
presentation.
Oh Jesus!
What the?
Celebrating the beauty of Oregon, acknowledging the tribal ancestors, picture perfect scenery,
What?
celebrating
sign.
Oregon, stitched there.
Our home, our team.
yeah. Let's see, honoring the tribal nations throughout what is considered Oregon. Okay, so the same thing that they just said. Okay, so
Okay,
it's
but
just
how?
more pictures.
Where?
Yeah.
How?
Those
What do they
you
do?
you see, Mike, those triangles represent either trees and or tribes. I think.
We put some triangles on an alternate jersey we will wear like 5 times. Do you feel honored, Native American community?
Whoops. Let me take that down. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Like, that is just some dumb bullshit. That is.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
What irritates me most principally is that you have athletic block, random
Oh,
cursive script font, and then arched like babies. Like too many fonts, too much shit. It's all crap.
so we're actually not done. There's one more thing we got to click on.
Oh my god. What now?
So go back.
Am
Go
I in
back.
the- oh my god. How much
Then
NBA
go
does
scroll down and go to the next page. This is really great for all those listening to the podcast. Not
Yeah, we're literally looking at the boards.
Okay.
and then right
here.
there.
Oh, no!
Oh,
So the Brooklyn,
Oh, no!
if you read the thing, it's based on some Brooklyn-based artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat.
yeah.
Started as a street artist in the 70s.
Just
Became
just forget it.
What?
Just forget it.
What?
Yeah, man. Come on.
There's nothing. I
What
mean,
is this?
there's
it's
no.
it's art, Mike.
No, this This is what happened. This is what would look like if I, was, I don't know, like 11 and I had like some markers out and I was like, I gotta draw the Brooklyn Nets jersey. And then I got bored and added like just colors to it. Like
that's my nephew would do it. He's 12. He'd do a way better job than that.
This is art. This is high art.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Uncultured swines.
The Nets. Again, like I feel like there is potential in really making interesting use of side panels in the fishbone, but this is just trash. Like this sucks. Like if you're gonna go with art and the colors and stuff, like you've got to be restrained and you've got to have some sort of measure. But like when you just go whole hog.
What are those things around nets? There's like one of them. It's like a parenthesis.
I think it's actually. I think that's the back. What do they call that? The circle around the
key?
It represents the duality of man, Mike.
Or that.
Does it?
I don't know, man.
I thought it was supposed to kind of resemble a basketball court, like you had like the circle behind the foul line.
That's a really generous reading of that.
Well, I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to stay on the reservation here.
The thing on the right side is a bracket, like a playoff bracket, and as you see, the Nets stuck in the first round.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
That's a good one.
I can't.
And if you scroll down, of course, you'll see that they've made a crown over the NBA logo.
That's for Biggie, right? That's a Biggie thing.
Yeah, it's a Biggie thing.
That's the closest. That's the closest the Nets are getting to like a World Champions logo right there. Is that? And then we got just the Dallas Mavericks abandoning the concept of team colors just altogether.
The Gold Ranger uniforms here.
This is our tribute to the World Football League.
What?
It reminds me of a World Football League jersey. The old league. You'd have to see the stuff. It's on I'm sure it's on the mothership somewhere.
It's supposedly the goal is to celebrate the team's 40th anniversary.
Oh, whatever.
Isn't gold a 50th anniversary thing?
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The 40th anniversary is like I don't like bronze.
Maybe that's why it's gold and silver.
I don't know. Fuck off, Dallas. Just go away.
I'm sorry. This
keep messing around with shit like this, and you're gonna end up being moved too.
Look, Mavericks.
I'm sorry. It's the White Ranger. not the Gold Ranger. This is definitely the White Ranger uniforms.
Definitely the White Power Ranger. Yeah.
Go Mavericks. Just go back to the stupid uniforms with the M with the cowboy hat. Like. Just be that forever. Nobody cares.
That looks like something from that's like a bad ABA team. It's like, well, this is all the budget we had, so we throw these together quick and have something to wear.
I mean, I know we're running long. Are there no more jersey updates?
Those are all the NBA ones, unless you want to look at the neon vomit that the Dallas Stars put out.
Let's save that one. I'll take a minute.
We got to end the show with this, guys. We got to do a little plug real quick here.
Fabric of the game.
Fabric of the game by our very own Chris Creamer, with
our Lord and Master.
Yeah. And I want you to
praise be to his name.
I want you to take note. Who did the forward to this book?
Lanny McDonald.
Lanny McDonald, baby. There you go. So there you go, Chaos Blast.
I definitely want to get my hands on that book because it seems like all the little previews that Chris has put online look awesome.
Yeah,
I think we should have Chris on the show to talk about it. It wouldn't be hard to add him to one of these, so maybe we should do that. But there you go. So, Fabric of the Game by our very own Chris Creamer and Todd. Is it Radom? Is that how you say his last name?
Radom,
whatever. Yeah. With a forward by Lanny McDonald. Fuck me. I mean, you can't get any better than that. So it's available, I'm sure, wherever fine books are sold, and there you go, Chris.
And Chris, he's not gonna do any of this bullshit like the NHL did, where it's like the Chicago Blackhawks have had the same uniform from like 1950 to now. It's like no, he knows his stuff. So
I'll be damned. Like it's available on Amazon in hardcover for like $23. Like for a hardcover book, that's insane.
And you guys will find that as deep as we go into this shit, we're just the surface. We're like his disciples. This guy really knows his stuff. So
yeah,
worth a look.
It's supposedly got like just great info and as well like a great coffee table book with images and that kind of thing. So really, that's definitely on my Christmas list for sure.
Yep, for sure, absolutely.
I definitely need that.
So yeah, we should try to get Chris on to talk about this too. Let him plug his book a little bit.
Definitely, let's do it.
He needs our giant audience compared to his own, right?
Yeah.
All right, we got anything else, boys?
No, I'm done.
Let me get us set up ready to close out the deal here. Okay. Well, if that's it, we'll call it a night.
Sounds good.
It'll be a nice, hopefully a nice quiet week, guys.
Hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is there's besides the weekends, there's no sports during the weekend.
Isn't that weird?
I know we went like months. Well, we had that time where there was nothing.
It's backwards.
And then we had everything for like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And now it's just football. That's it.
It's backwards now. It's like this. It's supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah,
Of course, we
December, but that's
Yeah,
until then,
we should be at the start of the NHL and NBA seasons, but
Hey,
the
you know,
NBA said it's going to start on the 22nd of December.
I'm sure they think they will.
on an optimistic note, we will close the show, or we'll close the show on an optimistic note for those of you that speak English. According to some stuff I was reading today, Pfizer says that their vaccine is 90% effective.
The early tests of their
Looking
first
good.
large group were 90%.
So looking real good, and who knows, maybe we'll get some relief from all this, and we'll maybe this time in a few months, sports will be kind of back to normal, which would be nice. So anyway, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We will see you next week.
Latest.
Bye.